Hi, this is Allison Parker with Rider Magazine. Today we have been riding Triumph's Tracker 400 and Thruxton 400, which are the 4th and 5th models in Triumph's 400's lineup. And I'm sure you can tell which one is which just by the way that they look. This one here is the Tracker 400. It's got the flat track style. It's got, the number plate here and the fly screen and a few other pieces as well. The Pirelli knobby looking tires, even though they're road going, they kind of have that off-road look. This over here is the Thruxton. Thruxton is a well-known name in Triumph's lineup, and it has made a reappearance here in the 400s. So we have that option as well with the front fairing, the bar end mirrors, and a more sporty cafe racer look. So before I get into talking about these two, I just want to mention a little bit about the 400 lineup, since I said that these are the 4th and 5th models. In 2024, Triumph came out with the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X, and they have sold really well so far. Triumph told us out of 110,000 bikes sold globally last year, about 50,000 were from the 400 range, which is really good numbers. So they later added the Scrambler 400XC, which was basically the Scrambler 400X with a few added accessories. It had spoked wheels and a few extra things, but it was basically the same as the Scrambler 400X. These two are different though. They're not just accessorized versions of the same model. Triumph redesigned the frame, the chassis, the engine as well. Everything about these is new. All right, so first I will go over the differences in the engine, because like I said, these have a different engine than what is in the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X. This one is also the 398cc single TR series, but Triumph revised the camshaft profile and then gave it a bit of a tune to accommodate that mechanical change. So that has resulted in a bump of about 5% peak horsepower, and that arrives 1,000 RPM later in the rev range as well. And the red line has also been moved 1,000 RPM later. Torque is about the same, although it also arrives a little bit later in the rev range. So even though this is an upgraded and more powerful version of the engine that's in the Speed 400 and Scrambler 400X, Triumph has said that they have no intention of seeing this as a replacement for that engine. They're not going to put this one in the Speed and the Scrambler. And they said that was a deliberate choice. It's intentional. And the reason is that they didn't want these bikes to be 5 versions of the same exact bike. They wanted to give customers plenty of options and plenty of choices. So these two, being the sportier versions, have the more powerful engine. The others are a little bit more laid back for riders who want that, which makes them great as well for those entry-level riders. These bikes also get a different suspension than the suspension that's on the previous 400s as well, and they are very similar to each other but differ slightly. They both have a 43mm inverted big piston fork. One of them, I think it is the Tracker, has 5.5 inches of travel, and the Thruxton has 5.3 inches of travel up front. They both have a gas monoshock in the rear with preload adjustment, but that's the only suspension adjustment available on these. Also giving these two bikes a very different riding character than the previous 400s. In addition to the engine is the riding positions, and that's something that we noticed right away while we were riding it today. We swapped back and forth between the two bikes regularly, a few times today, and every time you would swap from one to the other, the difference in the riding position was obvious right at the get-go. So for the Tracker, it has a wide, flat handlebar up here, much wider than on the Speed. The foot pegs are raised and moved back a little bit, and that gives you that kind of elbows out and aggressive, flat tracking sort of riding position while you're riding it. The Thruxton has clip-ons instead of a handlebar. They are significantly lower than the handlebar on the Speed, I think by about 9 inches or so. Narrower as well, and again, raised foot pegs that are slightly moved rearward, which gives you a tucked position where you can tuck in behind this front fairing and have a more aggressive ride. So one thing we noticed while we were riding today is that each of these Triumph 400s offer different riding characteristics and a different riding experience. And I think that's really great for riders who want to have option to find the bike that suits them just right. And of course, Triumph also offers plenty of accessories that you can get to personalize these bikes even further. So both of these bikes will be available in dealerships soon if they're not already there by the time you're watching this video. However, the Tracker is listed as a 2027 model and the Thruxton is listed as a 2026 model. They should both be available very soon though. The Tracker will come in 3 color options. One is the silver color that you see here. It's also being offered in a yellow color and in a black color as well, and that'll be available for $5,995 in the US. The Thruxton 400 will be available in 3 colors as well. It'll be available in black, white, which is the white is the one that you see here, and it will also be available in yellow, and that one is priced at $6,295. All right, like I said, these will be arriving in dealerships soon, so visit your local Triumph dealership to check them out. Also visit ridermagazine.com where you can find the full written review about both of these models, as well as reviews about the Speed 400 and Scrambler 400X from 2024. Thanks for watching.